Welcome back guys, and you asked for it, so here we go. Today we have a mono flying type team building video, and full disclosure, this is not a team that I've built myself. This has actually been very kindly donated to the channel by Shadow. You may have seen him already featured in some of our videos, and he is the flying type gym leader over on the Hideaway Facebook group. And what he's given us here is an example of a fantastic bulky flying type team. It has no true win condition. Instead, it's all about having bulky mons that have their own offensive capabilities built in. And the first mon on the team is Skarmory. It has the sturdy, rocky helmet, impish nature with 252 defense, 252 HP, and it is a stealth rock, defog, roost, and whirlwind set. So it's your standard fully defensive Skarmory, there for your hazard control. It resists the rocks, and it can resist icicle shard, icicle crash, any of those ice or rock type attacks being thrown at your team, and it makes a part of a defensive core with Landorus Therian. This is another impish nature. It has 252 defense, 252 attack, so it's a much more physically offensive version of a tank, and it has Earthquake, Knockoff, U-Turn, and Stone Edge, along with Intimidate and Rocky Helmet, and it presents some nice synergy in that you can U-Turn. You can U-turn into the Skarmory, so you bring in the Landorus, intimidate your opponent's physical attacker, then U-turn out into your Skarmory. Skarmory is now fully defensive and facing a weak physical attacker, so it gets the free turns it wants to be able to defog, or set up stealth rocks on your opponent's side of the field, or whirlwind, and if your opponent switches into something to try and hit the Skarmory, you whirlwind on that turn and send them into something completely different. So the third mon that helps to complete this sort of triangle of walls is Thunderous. It's Thunderous with an assault vest, modest nature, and it's a specially defensive investment. So 252 special attack, 252 special defense with Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, Grass Knot, and Hidden Power Ice for some great type coverage. Crucially, it has the Volt Absorb ability, and I'll get back to why later on in the video. Focus Blast gives you some nice coverage against the rock types, steel types, and ice types that threaten your team. And because we're playing on the Hideaway and we're allowed one Uber per team, here we have Ho-Oh. It has its hidden ability, Regenerator, and an Assault Vest. So you get best of both worlds because you have plenty of tank or tanky, Pokemon in your team. You're able to swap out and make use of that Regenerator and get back a third of your hit points really easily. So making advantage of that, we're actually going to go with an Assault Vest, 4 attacks, 252 in HP, 252 in attack, which actually increases the amount of HP you get back by swapping out with the Regenerator. And for attacks we have Brave Bird, Sacred Fire, Iron Head, and Earthquake. So this thing can pretty much eat up ice type attacks just by itself. The Assault Vest and full HP investment work fantastically for that. And Landorus and Thunderous and Skarmory all give great switch-in options for its main weaknesses. Charizard Y is a fantastic choice of a Mega for this. It has the Droid ability, obviously, and a timid nature with 252 special attack, 252 in speed. It has Flamethrower or Fire Blast, depending on how lucky you feel, Solar Beam, Dragon Pulse, and Ancient Power. And for a late game sweeper, just to give us some more offensive options, what we have is a Choice Scarfed Moxie Salamence with 252 in attack, 252 in speed, a Jolly nature, and a Dragon Claw, Fire Fang, Earthquake, and Ice Fang for more elemental coverage. And what you can do if you don't really like Charizard Y, if you think it's too mainstream, or if you are likely to be facing off against Mega Diancie, is swap out Charizard Y and bring along a physical attacking Mega Aerodactyl. Mega Aerodactyl is crucially the only flying type that's fast enough to be able to outspeed and handle a Mega Diancie. It has Iron Head, Taunt, Rock Slide, and coverage in any of the elemental fangs or in Skydrop if you wanted to be if you wanted to try and style on your opponent that way. If you feel like you're going to be going up against Mega Diancie, the Iron Head coverage on Mega Aerodactyl and the fact that it outspeeds it is a fantastic way to be able to bring that thing down. If not, and you do want to use Charizard Y is great because the Drought ability, setting up the sun, will obviously protect Ho-Oh, Landorus, and the Charizard itself from water type attacks. So just to surmise what the team can do, you have a full defensive core with Landorus and Skarmory. It can eat stone edges, rock slides, or any other rock type attacks, and Skarmory can take ice shards and icicle crashes aimed at Landorus. We have an Assault Vest Ho-Oh that can deal with its own ice type weakness. It can take even stab ice beams really well, and in the sun it also resists water fairly well. Any thunderbolts thrown around at your team, Thunderbolt, Thunder, or Thunder Wave, can be brought in against the Volt absorbing Thundurus in order to take care of that. And that's amazing because the only access to electric immunity is flying and ground, and obviously that is incredibly weak to ice, so the classic Bolt Beam combo, Thunderbolt and Ice Beam, will absolutely ruin our slow Landorus. And that's why that even though the Volt Absorb is generally less viable and less commonly seen than the Prankster version, on this team, Volt Absorb is absolutely brilliant because obviously it protects our ground flying type. If you're not using legendaries on your team, you can always try swapping out Ho-Oh for a Choice Scarfed Togekiss with Trick, or you can use a Heal Bell Cleric Togekiss. It gives you another option for a defogger, and it's able to remove any status that gets built up onto your team, any burns from Salamence, any toxic from your Landorus, or from, well, yeah, I mean, toxics, T-Waves, anything like that really can absolutely hinder this team, and having a nice Cleric there can help remove that. Or you can use a very classic, very difficult to use Choice Banded Talonflame, because why not? Sometimes you just want to click Brave Bird, and it is absolutely fantastic at it. Don't hate me too much for saying so, but it is. Talonflame just does its thing. So there's the team, folks. Thank you for watching. All credit again goes over to Shadow. Thank you for the donating your team here and letting people have a look at it and see what they think. This is my first time doing a type specific guide like this, folks, so if you have any feedback on what you think can help improve the format of the videos, let me know, and I'll be able to incorporate it. If you have any opinions on a type you want to see covered next, I'm thinking of covering Mono Bug type next as my own gym, and I'm fairly familiar with the typing. And if you have any others suggestions that you want to see coming up next in this series, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you next time.